Hey, welcome. In this lesson, we are going to explore and study what is data flow in N8N. And I think this point is really important because if you skip this lesson, you will be in the future working on a real world problem or real NNA automation or agents and maybe has issue with the data. In this lesson, we are going to study what is the language that N8N nodes use to speak each other, what are the more helpful nodes to use to manipulate, edit, delete, and control the data, and in the end of the video, we are going to see which node use in each use cases. I mean, depending on the use cases, you are going to use different kind of node and approach. As I told you in past videos, N8N is a tool to connect nodes between different nodes, and each node is a different feature, different functionality, and N8N ensure that all nodes speak the same language, and that is this language: extract, transform, and load. And basically are array of objects. If you don't know what is array of object, I can explain to you quickly. Let's take a look. Ignore this just for now. I only want to explore this. This is an object or JSON. Basically, it's an entity that represents something. In this case, it's basically a product. Has a sales ID, a date, customer, product, quantity, and total amount. And array is a list of these objects, of these entities. And this is why that is the common language that the nodes on N8N use to communicate each other. We introduced the concept of items or items. Oh, here is a mistake. But item or items. What is an item in singular? It's a single unit. Is this single unit that we have here, this entity, this product is an item, and items is the list of those items. It's just like this. But why this is important? Because N8N has a so particular way to work in data flow. As you can see here, this label say 7 items. That's why I have 7 items here on my Google Sheet document. By the way, the configuration of this Google Sheet is in helping video, but just to keep the scope of this video, I split out in another video the configuration about Google stuff, credentials, Google Drive. You can learn there. But now focus in that. Now focus that this node provides to me 7 items. And what happens next? Next, each of the node will be executing 7 times. We are going to execute those 7 times, not only one. No this on as a only one big list, if not as a one unit. For example, if we want to understand the data flow, there is a conditional node. We want to evaluate this. We are going to evaluate or set out a conditional, and the condition will be the quantity. N8N has this so helpful way to add a value. What I am doing here, adding the value of each of the elements. JSON represent each of the item, and quantity the field and a quantity. And here we can add some conditional. In this case, we are so sure that it's a number. We have to select the type of data, and let's see, is greater than 1, and that's it. And let's execute again to see what's happened. Well, as you can see, here we have only one item, but well, that's it because it's only one click. After that, this Google Sheet includes 7 items provided to the document. And here we add a conditional and split the item in twice way. 2 items because 2 of the items are the quantity is greater than 1, and 5 is not. Nice. That's mean, keep in mind this, is working as a loop. If you are a programmer or already know a little bit about programming, you know what is for loop. But if not, that's mean that for each of the items that we have here, we are going to apply the same logic. All these nodes from here and all these nodes that we can add in the future, we apply the same logic for each of them. Now, I want to teach you another way to add conditional, that is switch, because if it's pretty nice if you have only two conditions. Basically you add one condition, is true or false, but with that you can add any number of conditions that you want. Let's add this the same one, and now it's a number and say greater than 1 as well. What happens is greater than 1. We can add a name. Here is so helpful to do that. Okay, greater than 1, but we can add another one as well. Let's see if greater than, I don't know, let's say it's greater than 0, and we add here is greater than 0. But another condition as well to say if, let's see, is equal, equal is already done, is equal to, and we are going to add here is equal. Okay, nice. As you can see here, we have 3 different ways, 3 different paths. For each of them, I'm going to apply different nodes, but just start with the data set, or this one, edit fields or data set. Let's click on execution, and we are going to see what is this path. Is greater than 1. How many we have made in greater than 1? 2. With this node, you can manipulate the item. Let's say we want only 2 of the field that we have here. We have the sales ID and product, right? And as a result, we have a new 2 items, the same 2 items. It's not the same, but you have the new 2 items. We are not at a new one. If not, we have a new 2 items. Let's say, and here for another way, in this way, greater than 0, we want unify all items. We have 5 and we want to unify in 1. There is a node called aggregated where you can add here this way. We can all this item data in a single one, and boom, we have only one item we have here. If one can take a look, how many items is here? 1, and in the beginning was 5, and all of them is into this data list. And even you can remove this if you want, and you will have only an empty list of array. Okay, but what happened if here we have another ones. Okay, loop, something interesting, because you are going to see much better how is the flow of the data. Here we have a node. Sometimes loop node is not needed because basically N8N already have the behavior of the loop, but there is some cases where you have to implement that. But let's say we want to add a new property inside of the loop. We execute only to see what we have here. We have this, we want this, and we want a new one that is has loop, only to validate is has been on the loop is true. Okay, and we are going to see what is the final result. Let's see with that is enough. Let's test it. Okay, what's happened here? We apply the condition here. We have only 2 items in this path, only in this way, and now we apply the loop, and you can see here we have only 2 items on loop, and as a result we have 2 items as well. Here you can see the result, 2 items as well. But what happens if apply this loop again here, and we want to apply it with the same? Here we are going to do the same. We are going to add the has loop property, and here is a little bit more complicated because it changed the way the loop work and the way to usually the data works on N8N, because you have only one, even when you have all this stuff. But now you join all them in one, and if you apply this, if you drag and drop, you try to do the same, you will have this stuff. Basically JSON is this guy reference to this list, and only the first element of the list and the cell ID file. It's not working here. It's not the expected. But what happened? Well, now we already did that. We want to create different items from this. We want split out, and what happened is you click on it, you get an error because you need to define what is the type name or the field name that you are going to use to join all or split out. Sorry, this type will be data. Click again is error again because data doesn't exist. Okay, let's add here data. Now we have data and execute this again. Nice. Now we have 5 as a begin. We join all together in one, and after that we split out in 5 items again. But let's remove this. Remove and remove as well. And let's say we want to merge all together, join all data together. There is a node to do that. It's called merge, and basically, oh, it's not visual good. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, here we can merge the data again on 7 items. Yes, I know that is not a real example, but it's just only to understand with practical way how each of the node works. Conditional, we have switch and if. If when it's only one condition, and create 2 paths or wait, and switch to more than one. You can edit the items, adding an extra field or removing. You will create a new object based on the initial object. Aggregate when you want to unify all items on one. Split up when you have a grade array or a grade list, or it's not a grade, but it's only you want to split up the list. For example, you have a response, one list, big list, and you want to split up. Create different items to apply the same logic of the rest of the items. And merge finally is to join items. Well, now when decide use multi items and only one, when you have to join all the items on one, and when use the same logic for the rest. And here is a table where we can see, for example, if you want to insert on database, insert all of them is not recommended. In this moment you can use only one, call external APIs per item. Let's say you can call an API for each of the items of the product. It's much better this way. Provide a full context to AI agent. In this moment it's much better provide all of them, because if not you are going to call the AI agent in a lot of times. If you have seven items, you will call the API 7 times. Calculate statistics is the same. Agree is much better. Performance batch, but to debugging step by step, I think keep items in only one will be much better. Let's see example quickly. Let's say you have HTTP request, you call the API, right? What is that? I don't know why it's a connection, but well, look, 700 items. And let's say we want to calculate let's say we have amount, imagine, and we want to calculate the average of the amount. We have to join all in one, and after that apply this logic. And another example that I want to show you is another way to manipulate the data is the code node. If you execute only this way, you are going to see only as example that we add a new file called my new file, and then the value is 1. If you are good in coding, you can implement that. If you have the mindset of the developer, this is the best way. Just to finish, you have to understand the data workflow on N8N to avoid issues and save time. In the next lesson, we are going to understand much better the mindset and how you can planificate the AI agents.